How's it going, everyone? Data here, and welcome back to the San Jose Sharks franchise mode, episode number 14, headed into the 2026 postseason, year number 4. In our first season, we had that crazy deep run. I believe we went to the Western Conference Final all the way back in the day. Year number 2, missed the postseason. Year number 3, last season, all the way to the Stanley Cup Final before losing in 5 games. And now in year number 4, we somehow squeak our way back in with some very suspect performances. And here we are in the 2026 postseason. As I always say, they don't ask how you got to the dance, they just want to see what you do on the dance floor. Connor Bedard in his 3rd season, it wasn't great. His sophomore year was a lot better, 77 points, 44 goals. This year, not horrible, 72 points, but we needed a bit more from him. He was centering our first line. He seems to need a lower amount of ice time, maybe better matchups. Buchnevich, his first season with us was great. Jonathan Drouin, 66 points, amazing from him. Hurdle, 65. Lucius in his sophomore season, 27 goals, 63 points. William Eklund, huge disappointment, 54 points as our first line left winger. Last season had 69 points, and he was averaging about the same amount of ice time, 30 seconds more or so per night this season. And he got, 15 less points, more power play points, just not getting it done at even strength. Our goaltending, last episode, we made a move as we moved out Ilya Samsonov and brought in Lucas Dostal. Dostal had a so-so record, but numbers-wise, he did way better than Samsonov, who had like an 880 save percentage and 3.2 goals against. 906 save percentage, 2.68 goals against from Dostal, 15, 15, and 4 with a shutout. Channel legend, great to see him doing all right. Linus Ullmark ended the season a bit better. He was so-so as well. And we also made one other deadline move, acquiring Cole Lind from the Seattle Kraken. He played in the 3rd line role for us and was amazing. Through 21 games, he had 14 points and was a plus 10 with very limited ice time. He had, 5-on-5 ice time. He was playing first unit penalty kill, which was great for us, averaging over 13 and a half minutes of ice time per night. But headed into the postseason, I'm ready to mix up the lines a little bit because I do not want to see an early first round exit. Not because, okay, now we have to win or the fans are going to be disgusted. Yeah, we want to do it for the fans. But this also may be the last season for guys like Logan Couture, for Marc-Edouard Vlasic, for Erik Karlsson. So I've gone ahead and made some line changes. I'll highlight the comments that I used to make these changes in a moment. But headed into the postseason, I think our lines are going to look like this. I made a call-up. I made a couple scratches. And the comments are going to highlight why. So without further ado, let's dive into the comments from the assistant general managers and get this postseason started. Pens Gaming 7 says, I would say not to panic. I use the 2012 LA Kings as an example. That Kings team won the Stanley Cup after being the 8th seed in the Western Conference with a 40-win season. We had 39 wins and ended the year, I think, 2-6-2 in our last 10 games. But continuing on, don't change anything until you see how the playoffs go and then go from there. Loving the series. You do some great stuff here. Keep it up. Thank you very much, Pens Gaming. Appreciate that comment. A lot of comments that had to do with stuff after the season. Emerald Villager Gaming. Honestly, I'm in shock. Maybe time to do a retool after the playoffs. It really depends how the playoffs go. Hopefully, they can smarten up and play a lot better in the playoffs. Absolutely. A lot of people making comments that had to do with moving certain players out and bringing certain types of players in, which we will consider in the off-season, but I'll wait till the end of the postseason before I start to say who are the definite guys I want to move out, who are the definite guys we want to extend, etc. Cheating Heel with a nice long comment. As always, I'll skim through it. Dostal ended up working out quite okay. For the lines, I think that William Eklund isn't pulling his weight right now. We might want to drop him to another line and maybe have him face lower competition, and that would help him. Lind had good production on the 3rd line. Let's reward him. Reedy and Grigor had terrible plus-minus, so I'd look at replacing them. Lines could look something like this. There's some suggestions, and then some defense as well. 3rd pair defense is where we need to make some decisions because Rodin should probably be sat due to his plus-minus. It would be a safer bet to go for Kniazev and either Pickering or Vlasic. Now is not the time to try and have Rodin turn things around. It might be better to send him to the AHL until next season. At this point, it would probably just be for the postseason of the AHL if the Barracuda made it. Until next season and play our more experienced and safer players. Power play also needs a boost, 12%. Ouch. So I went with those suggestions as well. I really hope that the team steps up in the playoffs or we are looking at some big changes to our leadership group and highly paid players in the offseason. Go Sharks. Thank you for those thoughts, Cheating Heel. And moving on to more line thoughts, Nathaniel says, I think Eklund to the 2nd line for Drouin or Hurdle until he proves he can be productive enough for 1st line minutes. I even decided to put him 3rd line because I want to see Cole Lind on the 1st line. Maybe start the playoffs with Vlasic over Rodin to see if he has anything left in the tank to jumpstart the defense. Great video. Looking forward to see how the playoffs go. Thank you, Nathaniel. So I took those line suggestion thoughts, especially the one from Cheating Heel. I'll bring up an AHLer, because the plus minus from the fourth line was just too bad. Scott Reedy was a negative 19. Yeah, negative 19. Played in all 82 games. Noah Gregor didn't play in too many games. I sent him down. He was a negative in the double digits, I believe. I decided to call up Philip Bystedt. He is a former first-round pick in 2022 in the real world. He's been in the minors for a couple seasons, put up 44 points in 72 games this season. He's a two-way forward. He's 6'4". He's a rookie, gives us something fresh and new. I don't know if he's going to be on this team long term, but he has top 6 potential. Let's try a classic postseason call-up. I wasn't going to use him during the regular season, but why not try and use him in the postseason on the fourth line with our veteran Jeff Carter, who we picked up at the deadline in the Dostal trade. Luke Cunnin also there on that fourth line, who usually picks it up big time in the postseason. So that'll be our fourth line. Eklund with Glass and Couture on the third. Lucius, Bedard, Drouin on the second. And our top line for the postseason will be Bushnevich, Hurdle, and Lind to start things off. Defense, we're going to go Lindell and Carlson, of course, our top pair. Ferraro will play with Bouchard on the second pair, and Kniazev will play with Vlasic on the third pair, with both Pickering and Rodin being healthy scratches. Pickering had a solid rookie season, but I think we just want more experience. 13 points plus 14 was great. He's the first guy I go to if we run into any issues, but Rodin was just too big of a liability. I really wanted to see a lot from him. 75 games, negative 13. Anywhere he went, he dragged down whoever he played with. So we're going to start him off as a healthy scratch. And of course, between the pipes will be our new starter for the moment, Lucas Dostal, backed up by Linus Ullmark. Those thoughts on the defense is exactly what Super Loser says in this comment. Very frustrating season. Anytime a problem was solved, a new one came up. There's not much I can suggest, as none of the line changes have seemed to have any effect. The only thing I would say is that Rodin needs to be on a very short leash in these playoffs, if he even plays, right? He's been a complete liability this season. At the first sign of trouble, he's on the bench. He's starting on the bench. If the team has an early exit, we have to seriously consider a coaching change. Absolutely, no matter what, honestly. A team doesn't have almost everything go wrong without a reason, and the most likely reason is the coaching. Great video as always. Good luck, and go Sharks. Thank you, my friend. Let's get rolling. I am excited. First round matchup here against the Edmonton Oilers. We've seen them before. In the 2023 postseason, back in year number 1, when we were the team of destiny, we were down 3-1 in round 1 against the Oilers, then rallied back for 3 consecutive wins to beat them in 7 and go on to the Western Conference Final. So the Oilers still remember that a couple years later. They want some revenge. Draisaitl, McDavid, Puljujarvi on that top line. Oh my goodness. Hyman, Nugent-Hopkins, Kane on the second, Ratcliffe, Holloway, Hornquist on the third, and then Silverberg, McLeod, Nieto on the fourth. On defense, they have Darnell Nurse at an 86. No one else with really high overall, but he's playing with CC. Gustav Lindstrom and Jonas Brodin on the second pair. Hayek and Barry on the third. And between the pipes, it is Jack Campbell backed up by Michael DiPietro. So it's a solid enough team, and they have Kulak, Broberg, and Appleton all scratched. Definitely a top-heavy one, but I think the depth, it's not one of those teams where you have, like 77 sprinkled in there. The depth is absolutely evident. It's just that, that top line is a top line, absolutely, with 290-plus overalls. The Oilers went 40, 32, and 10 on the year. They ended 4, 3, and 3 in their final 10 games. We did not have a good end, going 2, 6, and 2, but that does not matter. We made it to the dance. We are here on the dance floor. Game 1, round 1 at Rogers Place in Edmonton. Starting off on the road, one of the last teams in the NHL to make the postseason. A lot of disappointment in this season from certain players. That has all been forgotten. The slate is clean, and I'm looking forward to seeing who will step up and be a hero in this postseason. Who's going to, solidify their spot on this team moving forward? Who is just ready to call it and move on in the offseason? That's what we'll find out right here. I hope you're excited with me. As always, you may not know if you're new to the series, this episode is about an hour and a half plus or minus 20 minutes or whatever in length. I always do different to keep things fresh and exciting. It could be that we lose in round 1. This episode's done in 35 minutes, but I don't want it spoiled. You are reacting live with me, and we can enjoy it all together. So put the feet up, get a little snack, and let's do this. If we do end up losing early, I would appreciate if you let the video video run a little bit. It helps with performance, but I'd rather it not be spoiled than I just get a little extra performance on the video. So let's do it. Game 1, round 1, Sharks and Oilers. First period, 1-0 Sharks. Chaz Lucius, what a sophomore year from him. He opens up the postseason. We score 1 goal on 3 shots in 20 minutes against Jack Campbell, being outshot by Triple 9-3, but it's 1-0 Sharks after 20. Second period, 2-1 Sharks. Evander Kane ties it up on the power play. Then Chaz Lucius gets his second of the night. We have 2 past Jack Campbell on 10 shots, being outshot 14-10, and we're up by 1 headed into the third, thanks to 2 goals from Chaz Lucius. Cody Glass makes it a 2-goal lead. Our first 2-goal lead has been back and forth so far tonight. We're up by 2 with 13 minutes to go. Power play San Jose, and Pavel Buchnevich may have just put the icing on the cake. 4-1 Sharks, even strength goal just as the power play expired. We get 4 on, 18 shots? Power play Oilers with a few minutes to go. We kill that off, and that'll be enough to call it a dub in game number 1 as the Sharks win it 4-1 the final. Outshot by 1, 23-22. But Lucas Dostal stood tall, made 22 saves, second star honors. Jonathan Drouin, troisième étoile, and Chaz Lucius, 2 goals for first star honors. Absolutely the first star. Thank you, Mr. Lucius. Lucius Haynes the 7th. Thank you very much. And we will move into game 2 with a 1-0 series lead. Lucas Dostal played pretty well, wasn't tested too much. I wouldn't mind keeping it to 20-25 shots against, but what we need is to get more shots on net, because we're not going to get 4 on 20, 25, or 18, whatever it was, every night. So game 2 in Edmonton, they're not going to want to lose both at home. They're going to come out with much more fire, and we have to be ready for that. So here we go. Top line, I'm looking at you. Ooh, there it is. There's that fire. First shot of the night. It's Puljujarvi scoring for the Oilers. First period, 1-0 it ends. Shots 12-8. At least we're getting the shots on net. I'll take it. We're out shooting Edmonton 12-8, but down by 1 after 20. Second period, starting on the power play. 5-on-3 power play. The power play's abysmal. First period ends 3-2. Let's go. Cole Lind scores twice. Lynn ties it up. Jesse Puljujarvi restores the 2-1 lead, the 1-goal lead for Edmonton, making it 2-1. Tomas Hertl with 3 minutes to go ties it up, and Cole Lind 50 seconds later gets his second of the period and second postseason goal as a Shark. Love it. Up 3-2, outshooting Edmonton 28-13, more than double, but only a 1-goal lead here in the third period, and Jonas Brodin ties it up rather quickly, 3-3 early on here in the third period. Cole Lind on that top line with 2 goals tonight. Power play Edmonton extended, extremely extended. We kill off a huge penalty there. 3-3 with 5 minutes to go. Outshooting 30-26, but Edmonton's coming back. Final 2 minutes in this one. It's going to be a tight final few seconds, and we're headed to overtime. Shots end tied at 30. The Oilers come marching back, and we're headed to overtime tied at 3. So according to the overalls, it's 94, 89, and 85 for us. Offense, defense, goaltending, respectively. 95, 86, 86 for the Oilers. So they have the edge by 1 on offense and goaltending, but we have 3 better on defense. All right, here in Edmonton, a goal for the Sharks puts them up 2-0 in this series, taking both on the road, headed back to San Jose. But a goal for the Oilers ties this series up at 1 and makes it a best-of-5. Hertl pickpocketing Nurse, but the Oilers regain possession. Nurse up to McDavid now. McDavid streaking in down the side, looking for something in front, gets it to CC Puljujarvi. What a save! Sprawling out is Lucas Dostal, and the rebound is cleared away as McDavid had a chance on the doorstep as well. Puljujarvi poked by Connor Bedard. All right, Bedard coming in himself. Weird play. What's going on? Oh, it's called off. What was that? Bedard comes in, gets hit. The puck's in the crease. He jumps over it. Why wouldn't that be all for interference? I was thinking kick. I guess they thought that Lucius interfered. Are they calling that no goal? Or are they going to video here? Yeah, no goal, unfortunately. All right, weird play. Questionable decision, but can't challenge it. Nugent Hopkins over to Hyman. Rebound, score. Oh, no, they call it back. There we go. Toronto's calling it back. Thank you very much. Goalie interference. One-timer there. Yeah, interference from Evander Kane getting in there. So Hyman's goal called back. Lucius's goal called back. 2 goals called back in the span of a minute. And we're still tied here in overtime. Fans are going ballistic booing here at the Rogers Place. Ferraro across to Lucius. I forgot, by the way, Evan Bouchard playing against his former team. The team that wouldn't sign him as an RFA, or didn't have the money at least. Bedard walking in, great chance, but Campbell gets the glove on it. Connor versus Connor. Bedard versus McDavid. Evan Bouchard against his old team. A lot of great storylines in this series. Offensive zone face-off here. Bedard versus Nugent-Hopkins. Bedard wins it back. Ferraro. Lucius. Campbell makes that save once more. Ratcliffe over to Dylan Holloway, centering that third line. Holloway. Lindstrom across to Brodin. Lots of space for him at the point. Lindstrom down to Hornquist, the veteran. Jonas Brodin with a lot of space. Gets bumped off the puck, though. McDavid over to Puljujärvi. Jesse Puljujärvi, another Channel legend. Connor McDavid now in the corner. In front, Puljujärvi scores. And Draisaitl's going to get the credit on that one. A tough one to let through. That first line, just very strong. McDavid gets it across to Puljujärvi, and then that shot may have been going wide, and then Draisaitl tips it in. Two guys right in the crease, no defense to cover them. A tough one to give up, and we ended up getting outshot 37-33. We're outshooting them, what, 28-13 at one point? Or something like that, and we ended up being outshot 37-30. That's wild. That's really wild. So we really took our foot off the gas in the second half of that game. And we now have a 1-1 series headed back to the Shark Tank for the first time in this series so far. Well, Best lines it down in the AHL for Larry Tanguay. I would consider calling him up, but Bystat seems to have been doing okay so far. Game 3 in San Jose. It's a best of 5 now. No reason to change up anything, I don't think. Power play is still scaring me a bit, but I'm going to let the new lines give them a chance to mesh a little bit before I look at making more changes. Let's see what we can do. Cole Lynn's doing very well in that top line, but I got to see more from Hurdle, from Buchnevich. Let's go, boys. Game 3 at home. First period, 2-1 Sharks. Chaz Lucians opens it up with his third of the postseason. Zach Hyman ties it up, and then a power play goal from Connor Bedard, exactly what we've been wanting to see. Shots 13-8 after 20, and we're up by 1 thanks to Connor Bedard. Second period now, 3-3 game. Draisaitl ties it up on the power play. Buchnevich restores the lead, and then McDavid ties it up on the power play. The Connors swapping power play goals. Shots tied at 22, score tied at 3, final 20 minutes to decide who gets the lead in this series. We got to be tighter on the penalty kill. 2 power play goals against in that second period. We can't be letting that happen. The Oilers pulling away in the shots a little bit, but Evan Bouchard scores against his former team. Power play Sharks killed off by the Oilers. Power play Sharks once more killed off again by Edmonton. We're up by 1 with 7 minutes to go, and Evander Kane ties it at 4 with 6 minutes left in this third period. Any late heroics with the shots tied at 33, 2 minutes to go. Will we see overtime again? Yes, we will. Shots are 38-34 for the Oilers headed into overtime. Bouchard put us ahead. Kane tied it back up, and we're headed to overtime. Here in San Jose, whoever scores the next goal puts their team up in this series. We have Hurdle versus McDavid at the dot, and McDavid wins that face-off back. Darnell Nurse trying to the zone, but Buchnevich will find possession. Gives it over to Erik Karlsson, who Colin almost tips it into his own net. Yarby in front. That's how last game ended. McDavid! Woo! Just also getting a piece of that one, I believe. Lindell pushes McDavid off the puck, but no one goes to get it. Draisaitl. McDavid back to Draisaitl. Buchnevich gets it away. Puljujärvi wasn't being covered there. Thankfully, we get it out. Evan Bouchard facing his former team. Gets it up to Connor Bedard now. Bedard has Drouin in the middle. Gets it to Lucius Drouin! Oh, I don't think that was a shot on net. I'm not sure if Campbell got a piece of that one. Ferraro. Bouchard from the point. Can't get that one through. Bedard has possession now. Bedard, put that on net, buddy. Come on. We just can't get shots over here. Drouin. Bedard has an open man at the point. Decides to keep it. Loses possession. Bouchard regains. Bouchard over to Bedard. Bedard through traffic. Big blocker save from Campbell. Bedard pinned in the corner. No one coming to help him as Hyman will fish that one out. And Campbell will need a face-off over here. Why the change lines in front? Lucius all alone on the doorstep, and Campbell makes the save. Why are they making changes while we're in the zone? I understand that the second line is tired, but I didn't call for a line change. Why lock on to the coach if you won't let me make the coaching changes? I didn't want to change at that moment. I understand changing during a whistle automatically, but not while we're on the ice. Offensive zone face-off. Cody Glass wins it back. Here's Vlasic at the point. Gives it to Kniazev. Over to Eklund. Backhand stop by Campbell. Nuge against Vlasic. Can't quite get through. Has possession of the corner now. Nuge in front. My goodness, that was a weird play in front of the crease. 7 minutes to go here in this overtime period. Not too much going on. Ratcliffe, Hornquist, big save, and a juicy porterhouse steak. Excuse me, rebound. Just waiting for Dylan Holloway. Are you serious? Where's the defense? Look at that rebound. Big kick off the pillows from Dostal, and no one's even within a country mile of looking to stop Dylan Holloway. Shots in that one ended 41-38 for the Oilers, and we lose back-to-back games in overtime off just bad coverages on defense. No one was remotely close to Holloway on that juicy rebound. His eyes were probably as big as flying saucers. 4-1 win in game one, and then back-to-back overtime losses, 4-3 and 5-4. Despite the close games, we've now allowed, 9 goals in 2 games? I don't like that. I'm at the point where I'm at least looking at changing up some defensive pairings. I don't know about goaltending just yet. Dostal has been solid enough, I think, in sim. I haven't been super content with what I've seen in-game. Lindell and Carlson +2 and 2. Ferraro and Bouchard both -1. Kniazev and Vlasic +1, +2. Dostal himself, 900 save percentage. Ullmark made 3 saves? Really? 25-26? Postseason? No, that was last year. Yeah, that's showing me last season stats. He has not played at all. So I still don't think I'm going to make any changes, but I don't know. Buchnevich has been doing okay. I called him out last game, but he was, he has 3 points in 3 games. The top line's doing okay. Drouin 4 assists. That's good. Lucius, that third line, Eklund 1 assist, Glass 1 goal, Couture 1 assist. They've had like 1 combined goal. And the fourth line, all -2s. Like, what can I do on this fourth line? What is with this fourth line? Is it because the coach rolls 4 lines or something? Like, what is it about that fourth line? So I'm going to keep them together again. If I see, win or loss, if I see like -2s in this game for the fourth line, or I have to make some more fourth line changes, but I can only do so much. You take them out to bring in who? Reedy, Gregor, not many other players who are available to bring up who would be any better, right? So we're down 2-1 in the series. In games 1 and 2, the home team lost and then won. And now the home team once again in games 3 and 4 has lost, and hopefully will win to tie the series up at 2. So round 1, game 4, down 2-1 in the series. Well, we want to tie this up and make it a best of 3. Do not go down 3-1 like the last time we faced Edmonton and have a huge road ahead. We don't want to have to face that if we don't have to. First period, Chaz Lucius scores on the first shot of the night, and Draisaitl ties it back up on the first Edmonton shot of the night. All right, first period ends 2-1 Oilers. Patrick Hornquist putting the Oilers ahead. We're being outshot 13-7. We both scored on our first shots of the night. 2-1 Oilers after 20. Power play Sharks to open up the second period. Killed off. Second period ends. No scoring. Shots tied at 20, but the Oilers are up by 1. Despite the tight games and the losses, we've always been able to beat Campbell at least 3-4 goals per game. I know he's due to have a good game and all that, but we know how to beat him. 1 goal on 20 shots so far. I want to see another one early here. I'm looking at the big guns. Let's go early in this third period, down by 1. 5 minutes in, nothing yet. Power play Edmonton, killed off by the Sharks. Very good. But I need to see offense. Gustav Lindstrom makes it 3-1 Oilers, down by 1 and down by 2 and down by 3 now as Hyman extends that. Sharks power play late, nothing comes from that, and we will lose 4-1. Shots end 34-33 as we score 1 goal on Jack Campbell, who makes 32 saves and has a .969 save percentage. We win game 1 and then lose 3 in a row to go down 3-1 in this series. Time to put the lines in a blender. That's all I can really say. Put the lines in a blender. I'm going to try and a few key things like Cole Lynn on the top line. Aside from that, head coach preference lines, whatever, preferred lines. I'm still going to do a couple changes like this, but that's it. I'm letting the coach decide everything else. Even the defensive pairings. Bring in Pickering. Fine. I bring in Rodin. I'd prefer not to, but we have nothing to lose at this point. Vlasic, Kniazev. I didn't even check the plus minuses of the fourth line. Hold on. Jeff Carter was a -2, or at least Cunnin, they were -1 in that last game. Bystedt, Cunnin, Reedy on the third line. Fine. Do special teams, whatever you want. Cole Lynn's going to play first line with Buchnevich and Bedard. Whatever. Defense, bring in Rodin if you have to. Just anything we got to do. And do we start Linus Ullmark? Do we give Linus Ullmark a start? At least so we can say that we gave it a chance, like we gave Dostal his starts. He wasn't amazing. Numbers from him, 896. Let's just go Ullmark. Let's just do it. Maybe the EA Voodoo loves Linus Ullmark. It usually does. Let's give it a shot here in Game 5, down 3-1. Last time we faced the Oilers, we were down 3-1, and we battled back, won 3 in a row, and we went to round 2 after winning it in 7. It's not over yet, and I'm not ready to give up, and I hope you aren't either. Let's do it. Game 5, round 1 in Edmonton. We've won here. Our 1 win came in Edmonton. So let's do it. First period, 0-0 shots, 9-8 for the Sharks after 20. I'm just going to let it run now. I'm going to let it run. Second period, here we go. Let's open up the scoring. Let's set the tone in this one. Take the air out of the building, whatever you want to do. Power play Edmonton. Power play goal Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. But Scott Reedy ties it back up. He got a little bit of reflection on the bench. He woke in the press box, and he ties the game up for us. Power play Sharks. A second one, both get killed off, and Pavel Buchnevich on that top line makes it 2-1 Sharks, and Ryan McLeod ties it up with 1 minute and 6 seconds to go. All right, we're out shooting the Edmonton Oilers 23-15. Ullmark has allowed 2 goals on 15 shots. It's a tie game after 40. Final period to see if we have life and we can live to fight another day. Third period action, here we go. Reedy and Buchnevich with the goals. Hurdle, Evan Bouchard against his old team. Gives us the lead, and Thomas Hurdle answers the call. 4-2 Sharks. Shots 32-18. Hold on, Nugent-Hopkins makes it 4-3. Ullmark allows 3 on 19. 7 minutes to go. We're not done yet. Shots are 35-22. Power play Sharks. Could this ice it? Killed off by the Oilers. Goalie pulled probably final seconds. And Drouin adds an empty net goal as we live to fight another day. Shots 38-23 for the Sharks. And we win this one 5-3, the final. Nuge had a couple goals. Hurdle and Drouin both had a goal and an assist. Plus minuses in this one. Let me see from the new guys we brought in there. Plus 2s from all these guys. -1 from Glass and Couture. Lovely. Even Rodin got a plus. Rodin +1. There you go, buddy. Okay, all right. 6 points in 5 games for Hurdle. There we go. Just his second goal of the postseason. We have life. We're looking to battle back again. I'm going to keep the lines as they've been, but I'm putting Dostal back between the pipes. I gave Ullmark his game. I'm going to make an executive call over the head coach here. I'm going to bring back in Lucas Dostal. Ullmark, he had an .869 save percentage there. I can't believe William Eklund. I really can't believe him. He has 2 assists in 5 games, no goals. What did he do in the postseason last year, or even in previous years? 13 points in 21 games last season, 7 and 18 the year before. I know I'm not looking for the world from him, but you gotta do something as an 88 overall. Come on, 96 offensive awareness, 89 passing, 4-star shooting. That third line hasn't been great, but Scott Reedy got a goal. Buchnevich, that first line seems to be working all right. 4 points for Cole Lind. Bedard, only 1 goal. My 44-goal scorer from last season. Come on, big boy. The Battle of the Connors. Bedard versus McDavid is not over yet. Game 6, back in San Jose. Home ice advantage. We lost both games at home. We cannot lose another one, and the elimination game at home to boot. Let's do it. Let's play for pride. Game 6, round 1. Let's push it to 7 and do what we just did last game. Pepper the net and throw everything in the kitchen sink at Jack Campbell. First period action. Dylan Holloway scores on the first shot of the night. Nieto on the 4th line scores, and McDavid on the power play scores. Outshot 16-5! Triple the shots for the Oilers. That first period may be enough to bury us. 3 goals on 16 shots in the first period. We have 5 shots and no goals after 20. Second period action. I'm going to let it run. 5-on-3 power play. Come on! This coach is finished. These special teams are atrocious. A ridiculous joke of special teams this past season. Second period, no scoring for the Oilers yet, but nothing from the Sharks either. 12 shots through 40 minutes so far. And there we go. Shots 26-13. Double the shots for the Oilers. 3-0 Edmonton after 20. I'll hop in maybe with 10 minutes to go if we can make it interesting. Power play Oilers. Beautiful. Beautiful. Call it a season, boys. There you go. Call it a season. 5-0 Oilers after 45 minutes of play. That's it. Take those penalties. There you go. Take another one. Take those penalties. No problem. Give Jack Campbell a nice little 20-save shutout after we get 40 shots last game. Great way to end it, boys. The season comes to an end on a 5-0 loss to the Oilers. I hope you're proud of yourselves. Wow. A lot of horrible performances this postseason. Oh my goodness. -2 from Hurdle, Carlson, Lucius, Drouin, Rodin, and Lindell. -1, those last 2. Everyone else has 0. So just 5 goals against, and it was against the same 6 players on the ice. Awesome. There you go. There you go. 0 shots from Hurdle. Any shots from Bedard? He got 3 shots. Nothing coming from him. There you go. And Lucas Dostal has an 853 save percentage. Well done. Well done. A first round exit. Our first in a long time. The first with the Sharks. Nothing that Sharks fans wouldn't be used to, but not what we would have expected after a Stanley Cup final appearance last year. Let's look at the player stats to end off the postseason. Then we'll simulate to the draft and do all the last little pieces of housekeeping that we got to do. As we drop in 6 games to the Oilers. Through 6 games, Hertl and Drouin were both point per game. Lucius, 4 goals and 5 points. Buchnevich and Bedard both had 5. Cole Lind, 4 points from him. Love it. Bouchard, 2 goals and 3 points. Carlson, 3 points. Ferraro, 2. Eklund, 2. Reedy, 1 goal in 2 games. Glass, 1 goal, -3. Pickering, 1 assist and a +1. Couture had 1 assist. Great stuff from the captain. Rodin, nothing through 2 games. Carter, 4 games, -3. Vlasic, 4 games, even +-. Kniazev, same thing. Lindell, 6 games, +1. Cunnin, 6 games, -2. Bystedt, 6 games, -2. Nice. Goalies, let's see. Allmark had that 1 win with an 869 save percentage. And Dostal went 1-2-2. Tough 2 overtime losses. 887 save percentage and 3.49 goals against average. Man. I don't have anything else to say about this team. I'm going to just cool off a little bit. I'm going to sim to the draft. Let's just see what happens. I'm not sure if we had any lottery picks this year. Let's just sim to the draft, see who wins the cup, check the retirements, go over the draft class, go over the contracts, get an off-season plan ready to go, and then let's just call it. Let's retool, and let's come back next season, because the pieces are there. They fell apart a little bit. We're going to move out some of the older pieces. The core is there, but we got to figure out what's going to be our plan headed into next season. All right, so the season seems to be over. The Florida Panthers have fired their head coach, which means we're going to fire ours as well. The Vancouver Canucks are Stanley Cup champions. First day of the offseason, I'm going to go ahead and fire the coach. I think that's just a given. But by fire, I mean demote, because I still want an A+ rated coach on staff. So I'm going to go ahead and demote him to AHL associate for a moment. Avery's going to come back to be our head coach, at least for the time being. And I'll have the A+ guy, Piper, go to NHL associate. So there you go. We can figure out more coaching questions in the offseason. But at least for right now, Piper is being fired/demoted. And Avery is back to the head coach slot. Vancouver Canucks, congratulations on the Stanley Cup championship as they beat the Ottawa Senators. Looking in the top right corner there, they beat the Ottawa Senators. I'm curious to see how many games it took them to do it. It was a 5-game series as they beat the Oilers in 7, Blues in 7, and then the Senators in 5, who had a tough road to the Cup themselves, taking down the Leafs in 7, Penguins in 6. So we lost to the team that lost to the team that won the Stanley Cup. So at least we weren't the biggest losers of the postseason. Let's check out the awards. I don't believe there's anything too much to see here. Hurricanes, what? Okay. Awards haven't been decided yet. My apologies. Advancing forward so we can check out the awards. Let's just sim to draft. Canucks win the Stanley Cup. Providence Bruins win the Calder Cup. We'll check everything else out in a moment. All those other awards once we get through the other screens. Whoa, San Jose. Oh, we dropped. We have the... What? We have the 4th overall pick? I didn't know it was that high. Florida was terrible. Wow, we totally forgot about that. We have Florida's first round pick, and I totally forgot that they were a horrible team. Wow, but unfortunately we drop as Vegas jumps from 6 to 2. But still, we have the 4th overall pick in the draft. Oh, wow, I totally forgot. I forgot what trade that even was. I'd have to go back in the records and check it out. If anyone remembers, drop a comment. Buffalo stays at number 1. Vegas jumps from 6 to 2. But Winnipeg, San Jose, Detroit, and New York Islanders, we all drop 1 spot. So 4th overall pick is still great. Too bad we didn't get top 3 or even win the lottery. But we have the 4th pick. Do we move that with other pieces for value? Do we draft? We'll see who's available at the draft. First, who are the retired players? Couture, Vlasic, Carter. Are they calling it careers? Let's see what happens here. So Jeff Carter is retiring, as we can see. Patrick Kane calls it a career. 1,519 points from him. Brad Marchand also retiring. Stastny, Perry, Jeff Carter with 956 career points. Anyone else? For David Krejci as well. Anyone else on San Jose retiring? Marc-Edouard Vlasic. Take a bow, my friend. 1,348 games played, all with the Sharks, 85 goals, 297 assists, 382 points, drafted in 2005, retired at the age of 39. Thank you for everything, a franchise legend, wishing you all the best in retirement. Wow, I would have liked to win with him. I really wanted to. I'm glad we didn't trade his contract. We swallowed it. We did what we had to do. Unfortunately, we couldn't get more than a Stanley Cup final for him. Craig Anderson retires at the age of 45. Still an 81 overall as well. So congrats to Craig. Is Vlasic maybe a coach or a scout or something? Paul Stastny now a coach. No, they're scouts. Barracuda or San Jose. Nope, no retirements over there for the coaches. Pre-draft. Oh, I missed the pre-draft interviews. Oh, I wanted to do those. Is it too late to do them if I stop the simulation? It is too late. Oh, they were the 22nd. Not the end of the world. It would have just uncovered a little bit more. My apologies. I clicked that button too fast. I'm not risking the save file to go back. That was just my apologies there. Let's check out the awards. Then I want to see this draft class. I really want to see who's available now that we have the 4th overall pick. That's something to be excited about. Canucks win the Cup. Avalanche win the President's Trophy. It was Canucks and Ottawa Senators in the Cup final. McDavid wins the Art Ross and the Hart. James Norris to Makar. Lady Byng to DeBrincat. Calder goes to this guy over... Oh, is that Isaac Howard? Like the created player Isaac Howard? Who would be on the Lightning, but I guess found his way under the Flyers. Or is just a completely different player, but he wins the Calder Trophy. Conn Smythe goes to Quinn Hughes. Vezina to Jordan Binnington. Vennings to Vanacek and Forsberg. Wow. Masterton to Tursunbayev on the Predators. Jack Adams to the coach of the Dallas Stars, Denis Pepin. The Frank J. Selke Ryan O'Reilly Award goes to Ryan O'Reilly. Ted Lindsay to Connor McDavid. And Austin Matthews wins the Maurice Richard. Any awards down the AHL? No. Okay, so let's check out the progress reports quickly, and then we'll get into the draft class. Here we go. Connor Bedard's at an 89 overall, dropped down from 90. That's great. Chaz Lelouch is up to an 87. He's going to want a big contract for sure. Drouin is up to an 88 right now. We got him as an 84. Couture down to an 82. Carlson down to an 81. Grigori at an 82. Lind at an 86. Reed down to 80. Eklund down to 86. Bushnevich up to 88. Glass up to 85. Rodin down to 82. Of course, these are going to change over the offseason, but just at the moment. Dostal 84, Cunnin 82, nothing, no other changes there. Sort by overall to now look in the system. Not too much here. Jinning group to a 78. No other major changes from the players in the Barracuda, but of course other players in our system. Whitney, Kivi Haryu's up to a 75. Woo, he'll probably get on the Barracuda next season. Some goaltending growth. Ido Kallio. Okay, all right, good to make note of. And now the moment we've all been waiting for. Let's see the draft class. Of course, our eyes right away are going to be going to who's at number 4. Draft class here in the 2026 class. We see number 4, medium elite, this guy McIntyre. Lincoln McIntyre, a 6-foot... Oh, I would have loved to see what kind of defenseman he is. He might be an offensive defenseman. So yeah, he definitely is. He's similar to PK Subban, and he's NHL ready. So first overall is going to be Charlie Corson, 5'9", playmaking center. Second pick is going to be Eugene Bartley, a playmaking winger, NHL ready as well. Third pick is an medium elite grinder, Jackson Persinger. He had 15 goals, 16 assists in a C- league. That doesn't speak too much to me. That doesn't really tempt me that much. So I don't mind the 4th pick. We could also look at the two-way D, though. Boris Kalinin, 17 years of age and NHL ready, and similar to Victor Hedman. I might be tempted to go for Kalinin or Kalinin instead. 17 years of age, I believe from Latvia. Right D, but left-handed. Very interesting. Also a medium elite two-way forward, Gavin McKenna. Two-way forward, maybe similar to Guy Lafleur and NHL ready. So there's a forward if we wanted. So McIntyre, Kalinin, McKenna, all tempting options. President Lincoln, 52 points in 67 games. Kalinin, 12 points as A+ competition. Whew. Then moving down, you have the top 6s. This guy, Hungarian unknown. Some top 6s. Our other pick, in the draft, probably around the early 20s. Maybe Parenteau, 3 bars medium elite. There's some medium top 6 guys we could definitely go for. All of them about 3 years away. So we could maybe trade that second pick. Hold on. Eugene Riley, NHL ready, medium top 6 from Norway. Yeah, we're definitely going to be looking at getting him. Nice late first round snag. Thank you very much. Anyone else who's NHL ready? Some guys who are 2 years away. That's not bad. There were guys who were 3 years away who were ranked way higher. So 2 years away. A good amount of two year away guys. even into the second round. Any other surprises 3 years away? I know there's more to look at than just NHL ETA, but that's, not a bad way to find some gems. After those top guys, we see anyone else who's NHL ready in the top here? Clifford Ranford, medium top 6. He's NHL ready from Denmark, I believe. 2 years, 3 years, 2 years. Yeah, no one else in the first round aside from that guy we saw late, Eugene Riley. All right, good to keep note of. What I also want to say was that there seems to be some solid goalies ranked highly. Medium elite guarantee at 32 and 3-bar medium elite at 31. Antoine Couture and Don Habschied. Two very interesting options that would be at the end of the first round. Antoine Couture is 5 years away at 18 years of age, and Habschied is 2 years away at the age of 17 and medium elite? Like, we got guys who were 2 years away and fringe starter last year. 2 years away in medium elite at the age of 17? I think we definitely got to go for Dan Habschied. 6'3". Oh my goodness. We could trade our second first round pick and move down and take him. Other decent options out there, but I think he's definitely the guy that we'd go for, even though Antoine Couture is ranked more highly. Other guys who have potential, doesn't look like there's too much. 3-bar medium elite, another goalie later on. I wouldn't mind getting those, like a couple goalies in this draft and trading our other goalie prospects. I never want to have too many goalie prospects. I don't want to hoard them, and the rest of the league just has horrible goaltending. So I have no problem. If we take some, we'd want to move some out to keep the league strong and to keep things realistic. Now, moving into the off-season, it's going to be tough to do some extensions here. Lucius is going to want a big payday. He was asking for $5 million at the start of the postseason. He wants 2 years. I wouldn't mind just qualifying him and getting a deal later in July. That's pretty expensive. We only have 9.7 to play with. He wants 7.5 for 2 years. Cole Lind, I really want to bring Cole Lind back. That's very reasonable. 3 years at 3.9, 4x4, 5x4.1. I think bring Cole Lind back is a no-brainer, especially at that price tag. Mario Ferraro wants 3x3 as well, and I like Mario Ferraro a lot. So if we were to bring back Lind, Ferraro, who moves out? Because defense, there's a logjam there. So now Vlasic is out, but we still have Lindell, Bouchard, Rodin, Ferraro, Carlson, Kniazev, Pickering. That's the 7 guys right there. Even then, I wouldn't want any of those guys to be scratched, but there are our 7. Who's scratched? Can any of those be scratched? Then, of course, you also have, in the system, we got to keep in mind that Kivi Haru is going to be making his way sooner rather than later. It's getting tight. I think guarantees next season are Lindell, Bouchard, Rodin. I think those are guaranteed locks, those 3 guys. Then from Ferraro, Carlson, Kniazev, and Pickering, 3 of those 4 will play full-time. Does one of them stay as a scratch? Do we move one out to get an actual scratch? Or maybe move 2 out to get an upgrade? I don't know. So those are the options for the defense. Goaltending, do we continue to roll with Dostal and Ullmark? Maybe depending on who's in free agency. We'll check pending free agents in a moment. And then for the forwards, we could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's with Reedy, with Grigor, who we weren't really impressed with Logan Couture, who's continuing to regress. 13th forward would be maybe Bystedt makes the jump. Tonge probably makes the jump. Twamala might. Ozzy Weisblatt. There's a few options in the AHL who want to make that jump. Plus, of course, as always, potential free agent options. So the pending free agents, and by the way, make sure you're in the Discord server for when I have free agency questions on the fly. Pending free agents, at the moment, of course, some may not make it. The pending UFAs, sorting by overall. Artemi Panarin is the crown jewel, maybe even Eli Tolvanen of the free agency class. Scrolling down, you can see a bunch of different names. First, I'll just look at the forwards. I'm not sure what kind of forward we've been looking for. Alex Tuck on the wing, Dvorak at center, maybe third-line center, Nick Schmaltz, just spitballing here. A bunch of names you can keep note of as we scroll down. Most of them won't make it to free agency, but there are the potential free agents. For the defense, if you're looking at maybe a bigger name, you have Jake Chikrin, you have a veteran in Victor Hedman, Trouba, Dumba, Anderson, Rasmus Anderson, Mikey Anderson, and then the overalls continue to go down to the 83s and 82s if they all make it to free agency. And then for goaltending, we have a headliner of Yusei Saros, Thatcher Demko, Huso Nedeljkovic, DiPietro, and then down to 83 and under after that. 41-year-old Marc-Andre Fleury as an 83. Love to see that. So there are the draft classes, the free agents classes, the progress reports, the potential extensions. I'll go ahead and end it there. A shorter episode, unfortunately. I tried to lengthen it a little bit with the end of the season there. But we drop in 6 games in round number 1 to the Edmonton Oilers. We have a lot of work to do in the offseason, a lot of decisions to be made. A bit tight salary cap-wise. We may want to think about moving out some of these players. That'll be up to all of you assistant general managers down here in the YouTube comments or over on the Discord server. Link in the description. We'd love to have you join us if you haven't already. We're almost 400 in the server, and I'd say the franchise modes are like 10% of what we're talking about. We're talking about your franchise modes, the real world of hockey, fantasy sports, and much, much more. So we'd love to have you join us. And hey, speaking of joining us, we'd love to have you join the team here on the channel if you haven't subscribed already. Franchise mode content, as well as career simulations on NHL 23, hockey card content, breaking news and analysis of the real world of hockey and the data casts. We'd love to have you join in. At the very least, please do leave a like if you did enjoy the episode. And for the sake of the performance of the video, if you could let it run for a little bit in the background with the black screen, that'd be much appreciated, so that it doesn't seem as though everyone's clicking off after only watching like half the video. If you could do that, that'd be much appreciated. But what I appreciate the most is you taking the time to enjoy the content and as well as engaging in the comments. Thank you for doing that. I look forward to reading your comments for this off season. I'm ready for a big year number 5. I have really high hopes, I gotta say, and I hope that you'll be along for the ride. So thank you very much for taking the time to enjoy, and I look forward to seeing you again in the next one.